yes.
It's mine's turned off. Is yours on? Well, it's going to take a minute to turn it on if you can get yours.
Okay. Well, we're going to get started. Welcome everybody on Facebook, and welcome everybody who's just joining Zoom. I'm Chris Nielson. I'm a doctor and medical acupuncturist here at Indian River Acupuncture.
And I'm Amanda Milian. I'm an acupuncture physician and doctor of Oriental medicine here as well.
And today we're going to talk about some weight loss issues, or weight loss programs, ways to improve our health and longevity. Amanda here she has developed and has been implementing and participating in her own transformative weight loss practice called Metamorphosis. And I did ProLon fasting mimicking diet for the past 5 days, just like Gwyneth. So at the end, after she talks, I will tell you how those 5 days went.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So I will talk about Metamorphosis. It's a comprehensive and customized approach to weight loss, permanent weight loss. It uses a combination of traditional Chinese medicine and functional medicine and neuroemotional technique to reset your basal metabolic rate, the amount of calories that we need to just function through the day. So again, that creates that more permanent weight loss. Who's it for?
Oh yeah, who's it for?
Who is it for? So I have coached people with only 20 pounds to lose. I like to take a more conservative approach to those cases and see if we just tweak diet and exercise, if they're able to lose that weight on their own. But for people 30, 40 pounds overweight that have maybe had some struggles for some reason, they have a lot of emotional relationships with food, they've just struggled in the past to lose weight. They've tried other diets and they just kind of go back to the same old pattern and they find themselves starting over again. That's who this program is for.
Good.
That was my story. I had tried a lot of different things and I needed to make some real fundamental changes.
Okay.
So a combination of...
Yeah, so what are the components of your transformative practice?
Yeah, started with traditional Chinese medicine, right, which is my passion. So from that aspect, we use Qigong, which is a moving meditation, as well as the acupuncture. So the meditation gives you a chance every day to sort of touch base with yourself, check in with your health, see how you're feeling, and set your intention for the day and or to reflect on your day. And it creates a pattern, right? It creates that pattern and momentum of where we want to go and keeps us on track. And the acupuncture is amazing to strengthen your willpower, to open up the detoxification pathways, to stimulate your metabolism on its own, as well as address any underlying conditions that you've been struggling with. So the acupuncture prescription is going to be personalized as well. The functional medicine aspect uses many of our specialized labs. Angela and Chelsea spoke about the dietary antigen test, and we're in the process of our GI series. So that dietary antigen test is so very important because you might be taking in foods on a daily basis that we think are really good for us, but we're actually having a secretory IgA response to them, and that's creating inflammation and blocking us from losing weight, and as well as carrying some extra water weight. For example, I lived in the Pacific Northwest and I ate salmon 3 or 4 times a week. When I got my results back of my dietary antigen test, I was allergic to salmon. So while I thought I was making a really healthy choice for myself, it wasn't necessarily good for me, so for my blood chemistry. So those are really important. The GI mapping helps to identify if there's any imbalance in the gut. You're making the right amount of neurotransmitters to keep your emotional balance, to make sure there's not opportunistic bacteria that can be causing cravings and hindering you again just from losing that weight. So there's some underlying components that are real important to get those out of the way and see what we're left with. The homeopathic formula of Doc's stimulus drops. There is no magic bullet when it comes to weight loss, but I would say this is very close. This is a homeopathic blend of herbs. There is no HCG in it. HCG is human chorionic gonadotropin hormone. And again, this is a homeopathic blend of herbs. It is not the actual hormone, but it replicates what that hormone does in your body. And what that hormone does is to shift your body into burning excess fat instead of burning sugar. So again, it is fast weight loss, which keeps people on track. It is a little bit restrictive meal plan. Let's talk about that meal plan. It is protein, it's fresh vegetables, it's fruits, it is coconut oil, which is a medium chain triglyceride, There are very limited portions of dairy and carb, but it is primarily a whole food meal plan, which is one of the best ways that we should just be eating for optimal wellness in general. There's simple prep, no preservatives, no processed foods. And then the big difference in this program and other programs is the neuroemotional technique that we use. So the NET, again, we've done a talk about that with Dr. Chris and Angela a couple weeks ago, so please refer to one of our other Facebook talks to learn more about that. But the neuroemotional technique can really change our relationship with food, why we keep going back to certain patterns that we know are not in our best interest, and then we get upset with ourselves about. So neuroemotional technique was the change for me.
Yeah. So we know NET and acupuncture is something that you normally get in the office. Tell us what an initial visit for this program would look like.
That's a great question, Chris. So we're going to do sort of a standard initial visit, which always includes our review of systems and a thorough medical intake. We're also going to do a tongue and pulse diagnostic, which is from Chinese medicine perspective, how we gather information and assess what's happening in your body. What else are we going to do? We're going to dive into the neuroemotional technique. So a couple of those personal declarations are: I'm okay with my current weight, and I'm okay losing weight. I'm okay maintaining weight. I'm okay getting to my ideal weight. All of those things we want to be real okay, congruent, neutral with. So we'll dive into that. We're going to talk about any labs that you might need depending on your past challenges, right? Your general state of health that it is now. If there's something that we need to order for you, a comprehensive metabolic panel, that dietary antigen, thyroid, hormone, anything like that comes up during that initial intake, we're going to address that as well as give you that initial treatment of acupuncture, NET. And then your follow-up visits will look similar to that, not as much of that talking, right? We've already created your treatment plan, so we can dive right into the NET, look over your food and weight journal that you're going to be keeping, so you have some accountability. So I'll be looking over that with you. And then we also talk about any challenges or successes that you've had during the week, and we'll build on that. So I am there for you 100% of the time. And your follow-up visits will also be an hour. But again, we're going to get right into the NET and the acupuncture. And those visits are going to be $160. And there's a 6-week commitment to this program, okay? So once a week for 6 weeks, you'll be coming in, and that's how that will progress.
So I have a question.
Yes.
How is this different? What is the benefit compared to other diet plans? What is the difference?
All right. So there's a lot of other diet plans out there, right? There's apps that you can get on your own. There's Weight Watchers. There are certain gyms that will do 6 or 8 week programs where they have some nutrition and some fitness goals. But at the end of the day, that doesn't change your habit energy around food. So if the reason that you've become 30, 40, 130 pounds overweight is because of an emotional relationship with food or with your body, with yourself, those things have to be addressed through neuroemotional technique and the acupuncture, because the acupuncture really helps to change your the energy of your body as well. So it all goes together, but really that key component is neuroemotional technique, because that's going to change you. Once you've reached your goal, you have to be able to maintain it. And again, those of you that have maybe gone up and down in weight, know that we can reach our goal. Sure, that's not the difficult part. The difficult part is maintaining that weight and changing that relationship with food so we don't go back to our old behaviors that got us overweight in the first place. So that, I think, is the most important thing.
Okay.
Thanks for asking.
Any other pros and cons?
For sure. Some of the cons that I've heard from my patients that I've been coaching, the meal prep and planning, depending on, I guess, your knowledge of the kitchen and your comfort level in the kitchen, it is simple prepared food, but maybe you eat out a lot, and so you don't really know what that looks like. So that has been a challenge for some. I love to cook, and I have lots of great recipes. So again, I can help anybody who's in that situation. If you need some guidance with that, we can talk about that at some of your appointments. And I also have a monthly workshop that I do to talk about eating and whole food and things like that. So we can look at that a little bit more. What are some other...
The restrictions?
Oh yeah, the restrictions. So
there's some no-nos.
There's no sugar, there's no alcohol, there's no caffeine, and some people will say that's no fun. But really, those things create a lot of toxic energy in our body, right? So really just committing to yourself and to your health and feeling as good as you can in your body and in your mind. Get rid of these components for a little while and just see the change that comes with that, because that will move me right into the positive side of this. I had a laundry list of physical ailments that have all resolved from eating this meal plan and from moving a little bit more, but really just giving your digestive system a chance to take a break with only eating these simple foods, only one protein at a time, only one vegetable at a time. It is very good for your digestion to just sort of slow down. It utilizes all the food that's going in. You have tons of energy. I was not hungry. Considering it's a very calorie restrictive, the food that you're eating is very nutritionally dense and you're utilizing all of it. And those drops really help to suppress your appetite. So I found that to be easy. Mm-hmm. My sleep is improved. Oh, clarity. I am so much clearer. Sometimes you walk into a room and you don't quite know what you went in there for, or you misplace your keys or something. And I used to struggle with that. And now I just think, oh, my keys. And it just takes me a second. I'm like, I know where they are. And that's where they are. It's amazing. So I started to notice that more and more, just that cognitive function that I didn't even realize was lesser than or lacking, right? Just a matter of doing this eating and that meditation and the acupuncture on a regular basis makes just tremendous shifts, on a weekly basis that add up to real dramatic change.
And even if you wanted to just take a component of this and say, oh, that's my, I would not cross that line, then come in and get an ET and be okay with giving up this or that.
Absolutely. Because if you do automatically say, there's no way I can give up caffeine, or there's no way I can go without alcohol, we should probably look at, why you have that belief. So there might be something emotional or energetic that's blocked in there. So we can address all that.
So when is the best time to do this?
Oh, right now, of course. There is no better time like the present, right? No, again, I struggled for many, many years. 20 years of back and forth, and I'll start on Monday, or wait until just this birthday is over, right? And there's always a reason why you don't start right away. But really the best time to start is now. Start taking a moment to just do some meditation, reflect on where you want to go, how you're feeling now, what changes you want to make in your body, and what you look like 5-10 years from now, what that health component looks like, as well as your actual body. But I think
Wonderful.
The time is now.
Good.
We've got some extra time on our hands, don't we?
Yes, we do. All right, so I'm going to give a disclaimer. I'm going to tell you about my ProLon fasting mimicking diet.
Tell me about ProLon fasting mimicking diet.
I just finished it yesterday. It was 5 days. I finished yesterday, and I had my first regular meal this morning. So my brain is currently switching from ketone bodies back to glucose. So bear with me. The ProLon fasting mimicking diet is a 5-day diet. It's specially developed to simulate fasting, because you want to obtain the well-documented benefits of a fasting diet, but while still having satisfying meals and snacks and without the negative effects of caloric restriction like hunger, which usually indicates muscle breakdown or slowing of your metabolism. Your body adjusts so that when you go back to eating, you actually gain weight faster. This avoids those pitfalls.
Are there other benefits to this?
Oh, yes, there are. So the idea is that this diet puts the cells into a protected state. It allows cellular cleansing, so you're getting rid of dead or old cells. You're kind of optimizing the function of the working cells. One of the benefits is weight loss, especially abdominal fat. The average on one of the studies they've done, this is well researched at the University of Southern California. One of the benefits in the research study was that people lost an average of 5.7 pounds each time they did the diet. I personally lost 3.2, so good for me. It helps with metabolic regulation. So when you're in a fasting state, you're not getting the insulin surges from each time you eat a meal and each time you eat a meal. So everything can kind of go into a resting state. So it's good for the endocrine system.
What does it look like, the actual kit itself?
Oh, there's still some more benefits.
Oh, sorry. There's more benefits? That's amazing. There's so many. Let's continue with those.
So the metabolic component or the cardiovascular component, people who did the diet actually had a drop in their blood pressure. And other markers improved. And then the whole point of doing this is potentially it will improve your longevity. It helps you promote healthy aging in your body. That's another huge benefit.
Primary benefits.
Yes.
Okay, very good.
All right.
And
so
then what does that box look like?
So we don't have the box. I ate everything in the box, and my kids destroyed it. They wanted to get the magnets out of it or whatever. But anyway, it's a diet that's all in there. All 5 days.
It's about a shoebox size.
Yeah, it's a big shoebox. And then you have nut-based bars. You have soups that you prepare, some in the microwave, some on the stove. There's kale crackers, olives, and then there's herbal tea. You can have as much herbal tea as you want. And then there's a little bottle of vegetable glycerin, and you dilute this in a big, big water bottle, and then you can kind of sip on it throughout the day. And I will tell you that actually was of much benefit to me.
And you said this food was all really tasty, right?
Yes, it went really well, and it tasted really good.
And there's a couple options with the soup too, so you have some options there. Mm-hmm. Nice.
So let me tell you my experience.
Yeah, how did it go for you?
It felt really great. As you might know, the brain actually does more efficient metabolism using ketone bodies than it does with glucose. So the brain appreciates having a fasting state. It's just much more fuel efficient. I did have some episodes of weakness and or hunger, usually in the late afternoon or evening, like right before dinner. But I would take a couple of swigs of the glycerin water while I was making my soup, and it really was very short-lived. It didn't feel like I was fasting at all. And then the other thing I noticed was that I would get pretty hot at night, or I'd wake up in the morning just look like just warm. And I'm assuming that meant I was burning fat and I was cleaning out my cells. So that was a good thing.
Absolutely. So who do you recommend ProLon fasting mimicking diet for, Dr. Chris?
Okay. So if your primary goal is weight loss, then you can do 5 days of this once a month for 3 months. And believe it or not, even if you ate the same amount of calories that you normally eat in a month and you cram them all into the 3 weeks and you still only had 5 days of fasting, you will be doing your body so much good, and you will not gain as much weight as if you'd had just the whole 4 weeks to eat that much. If you're struggling with autoimmune disorders, metabolic disorders, cardiovascular disorders, then they recommend doing, or just you want to do it for health, for longevity, then you do it once every 3 months. And you can do that, a couple times, every 3 months. So that's like 3 times a year, or 4 times a year. But
and how much does that cost to do that?
We have kits right now for $249. And again, it's every bit of food that you will need for 5 whole days. Mm-hmm. So if you are struggling to get out to the grocery store and you want to eat some soups and crackers and olives.
Simple. It's prepared for you.
Simple.
There it is.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I will now turn to see if we have had any questions about, you guys can put in questions here, or better yet, just come in and ask us about it and give us time to share our stories with you in person. Mm-hmm. Do you have anything else?
I'm excited to start using the ProLon.
Yes.
I'm going to do that next month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it goes well with other diets. Like if you were doing a calorie restrictive diet or a ketone or paleo
mm-hmm.
or ketosis diet,
mm-hmm.
and you can use this at the end to kind of switch you back into a regular diet. It's pretty easy to switch back over.
You see the benefits of like hypertension and
I did.
glucose control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did.
So
all right.
I wanted to circle back and just mention the cost of the doc stimulus drops. As we talked about the appointment cost. So the drops are 45 days worth of drops, and they are $150. And then we could just go ahead and share
that.
this.
And I have another
don't know
question.
how we share that. There's that.
Yeah, this was her
So
before
this
and
is a
after
before and
pictures.
after collage.
Yeah, she had amazing changes. in her
I've lost
body.
130 pounds, and it is started with Qigong and acupuncture, and like I said, all of these other components that we used, and 3.2 pounds in just 5 days.
My kids did a couple of before and after shots, but if you ask me about those privately,
That's for in session. Okay. I don't mind sharing.
Did a cute one.
Oh, and also I will say that you had lost 3.2 in 5 days. So on Metamorphosis, typically you can expect to lose a quarter pound to a pound per day. It depends again on your constitution and some other things that we're doing, but typically those are the results that you can expect. So it's very fast.
Okay, so the question we had was, are there some people that ProLon won't work for? And yeah, I would think that, certainly somebody who would not tolerate fasting. So somebody with type 1 diabetes who is dependent on glucose metabolism and insulin. That would have to be really closely monitored by their physician. But, it's really accessible to almost anybody who wants to try it. Again, even if you're not trying to lose weight, it's still okay as long as you're not underweight. And I think there's
more questions
somebody
up there
with-
on Facebook too.
Yes,
Hi.
I see Gail wants to ask a question.
Hi.
Hi, Nan. I just was hoping you could elaborate on how it helps autoimmune.
Sure. So with the cellular cleansing and with the regulation of your metabolism, there's going to be a lot of lowering of all of those inflammatory markers. So, and improving the cellular healing. So any effects of the autoimmune disease on the end organs would be potentially given a little space to do deep repair. So you're cleaning, you're rejuvenating, and you're being able to repair. Because, I mean,
Autophagy.
yeah, autophagy is another name for cellular cleansing. But if you imagine that all day long we're eating, not that we're eating terrible food, but we're eating different foods and our bodies are responding, we're exposing ourselves to different toxins and our body's responding, we're kind of eliminating all of that so that your body can really do that deep spring cleaning for 5 days.
Good way to say it. I like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a Facebook question.
Oh, another
Can you
question.
Repeat the cost of the metamorphosis.
Yes, I
Yes.
saw that. So the cost of Metamorphosis, somebody had asked. So again, the drops themselves, which are a part of the program, are $150 for a 45-day supply. There is a 6-week commitment to Metamorphosis program. Each week you come in and work with me one-on-one. It's $160 for the hour. That includes your acupuncture treatment, the review of your weight and your food journals, as well as the neuroemotional technique. So we have a lot of time to do the NET and just a few minutes at the end to do the acupuncture, and we can go over any questions and things that you have. So I hope that clarifies it. It's $160 a week for 6 weeks minimum, but that will depend on how much weight you have to lose and how we're going in our progress. But you can at least count on those 6 weeks and the drops to get started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of got over all of our information rather quickly. If you just tuned in, you can watch it again. We're going to have it on Facebook, and then we're going to also put it on YouTube so you can watch the whole thing again, get some laughs.
We hope you found it entertaining and educational.
It's always nice to be able to reach out to everybody and see how things are going out there.
Yeah, and we just love sharing, especially when we get to experience some of the things that we do in the office.
Yes.
When we have something new, like yes, let's try that, and then we'll share.
Yeah.
So if there's any topics that anybody would like more information about, please just email us or message us, and we're happy to create a talk about that specifically.
Mm-hmm. Otherwise, we will see you next. Is it Wednesday?
No, it's Saturday.
Okay, we're
Right,
now
next
doing
Friday.
every Saturday. So we'll see you next Saturday.
For more Facebook Live and more information from Indian River Acupuncture and Functional Medicine.
Yep.
Thanks for joining.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend.
I don't know how to close it.
Go to the thing and go.
There it is.
There we go.
Okay.
We got it.